Hello, beautiful people. My name is Nube Brown. I work with California Prison Focus and facilitate a program there called Liberate the Caged Voices. I'm going to be reading a piece to you from my loved one who is now at USP Pollock in Louisiana. He will be coming home to us soon, thankfully, and will become the editor of the San Francisco Bayview National Black newspaper when he gets here in September. Before I start, though, I just want to say that I feel all the pain and rage and the real need for us to come together in unity and really show that radical revolutionary love for one another. This country, we really, as a people, need to understand that this country was founded on slavery, genocide, rape, land theft, and this is why we see what we see today. That these generations of pain and trauma is the direct result of its foundation, this country's foundation, and we are feeling the intense pain of all of this. And I want to give a shout out to all of the young people that are righteously angry and in pain. What we have been seeing and what has been shown to us by this country is that Black lives don't matter. It has, like I said, it started with slavery. And so we are living with the trauma, all of us, of anti-Blackness and modern day slavery. It still exists. It is existing within our prisons. We are living with a prison industrial slave complex, and what we saw and what we see with these police killings is nothing short. It is modern day lynching. It is a lynching, and we really need to get to some of our history. And I am just going to encourage people to please stop denying that the foundations of our country. We have to start looking at it. All right, I'm going to not talk anymore. I want to read this beautiful piece by Comrade Malik, and then we'll play a song afterwards. Love and Solidarity. Juneteenth 2020, Let's Adopt the Mantra of Black Unity and Black Love by Keith Malik Washington, End Prison Slavery in Texas Movement. Quote, if you do not understand white supremacy, racism, what it is, and how it works, everything else that you understand will only confuse you. Neely Fuller Jr., 1971. Showing love should not be restricted to family members or romantic or sexual partners. Love should not be restricted to blood relations. Love is showing kindness and courtesy openly and publicly to all Black people, even strangers, so our Black children will learn it is normal and desirable for Black men and Black women to respect and care about each other. Strategy number 10, show Black love openly and publicly. This is an excerpt from page 394 from Black Love is a Revolutionary Act by Umoja. Peace and blessings, sisters and brothers. If the COVID-19 pandemic did anything in America to Black and oppressed people, it's most certainly got our attention and demanded that we become aware of the fact that the legacy of slavery and the systems of oppression that brought it about are still having tragic effects on our lives and our livelihoods. At first, I had intended on choosing the theme for this year's Juneteenth article to be, if we do not protect and care for each other, who will? I mean, as I analyze how many lives have been taken by this deadly pandemic, that's how I feel. How do you feel? Sisters and brothers, do you think Donald J. Trump and his team of bigots mourn the loss of Black and brown lives? Trump knows we're not going to vote for him in November. No, but we're grieving, and we can choose to care for and protect each other. So the theme and focus this year is Black unity and Black love. I propose that the prison abolitionist community, along with all our free world allies, do 3 things this year. 1, unify in order to free our politicized and political prisoners, prisoners of war, and our vulnerable elders. 2, honor and remember our loved ones whom we've lost and are losing to this deadly virus, by caring for and loving each other and celebrating our shared humanity. 3, get ready for our solidarity actions, which will begin this August 2020. Recently, I have been studying a book on Black Love. Black Love is a Revolutionary Act by Umoja. When I was held captive in the slave state of Texas, this book on Black Love was banned by the Texas Department of Criminal Justice, TDCJ, Directors Review Committee. I and many of my supporters found it strange that the DRC approved books like the white nationalist primer Mein Kampf, but would prohibit a book on Black Love. White supremacists, racist Jennifer Smith, Billy Herschel, Laurie Davis, and Brian Collier were responsible for banning numerous books and other pieces of literature which illuminate Black history and shed a positive light on the Black experience. I encourage more prisoners in Texas to file federal civil rights complaints and specifically cite the ongoing invidious racial discrimination practiced by Jennifer Smith and the rest of those bigots who sit on TDCJ's Director Review Committee. Challenge white supremacy. Love yourself by knowing yourself. I'd like you to allow me to share another quote excerpt from this remarkable revolutionary book on Black Love. It is undeniable that the white supremacy system and their white foot soldiers are waging a vicious war against Black people on 4 levels: educational, economic, psychological, and reproductive. It is also increasingly clear that white America has no patience or sympathy for poor or, quote, uppity Blacks, and is rapidly and quietly building more prisons while it closes Black schools in preparation for what? A $104 million juvenile detention center to be built in East Baltimore, while the city is closing predominantly Black schools. What is America's plan for Black youth? This answer should be obvious, unquote. Page 35, Black Love is a Revolutionary Act by Umoja. This year's Juneteenth should be a time of deep thought, reflection, and planning for the future. There must be a return of the unity and love in the Black community. We certainly cannot love others if we don't love ourselves. All this talk of unity and love is absolutely meaningless without action. Should we stab and fight one another, or should we try to resolve our differences in a respectful and peaceful manner? Hello, B2. Hello, USP Pollock. Can you men hear me now? We must focus our minds and take actions that honor the incredible sacrifices of our ancestors and respect our elders, and empower the developing minds of our youth. We must summon our spiritual strength and model forgotten that greatness. I remember when the people's lawyer, Lynn Stewart, was incarcerated in federal prison. She was battling cancer. I loved Lynn Stewart. You know why? She loved us. She loved us. Do we love us? Before she was released by the Obama administration, I was about to ask 100,000 activists and freedom fighters to descend upon FCI Carswell in order to free our sister Lynn Stewart. Sisters and brothers, what about our incarcerated elders? What about Sundiata Acoli, Leonard Peltier, Imam Jamil Al-Amin, Dr. Mutulu Shakur, David Gilbert, Jalil Muntakim, who's contracted COVID-19, Mumia Abu Jamal, and others. They deserve our unity to win their freedom now. We have a system in place here in the United States that is addicted to the exploitation of our Black men and women and the scapegoating of our poor, oppressed people. The vicious nature of white supremacy will hold an old man captive until he dies, or hunt down a young, unarmed Black man who decides to exercise in a white neighborhood, massacre us in our homes, and steal our last breath with a knee on our necks. Rest in power, Ahmaud Arbery. Rest in power, Breonna Taylor. Rest in power, George Floyd. Stop murdering our people, America. Sisters and brothers, what if the videotape of Ahmaud Arbery's execution was never released? Do you think justice would have been served in Brunswick, Georgia? We often don't hear the phrase, don't speak about it, be about it. This Juneteenth will you be about it? Will you dare to show Black love to your sisters and brothers? Let us look at what our brother Umoja says about racial profiling. Racial profiling refers to a police officer or a person of authority who harasses or arrests non-whites because they are not white. In many cases, racial profiling is encouraged by white city officials to send a message that blacks, especially black males, are not welcome to live, work, shop, or even drive through certain white areas. It is a psychological tool of intimidation and demoralization used against black males to remind them that they are inferior, unequal, and will not receive the same courtesy and rights that whites take for granted. Page 231, Black Love is a Revolutionary Act by Umoja. Now view the Ahmaud Arbery execution tape again and tell me what you see. Juneteenth is a black abolitionist holiday. Direct solidarity actions are only one part of our comprehensive abolitionist strategy. We have to begin to identify the problem which has subjected us to this modern form of slavery and servitude. Capitalism is the problem, and it must be replaced by socialism or a society governed by the people and not these fake leaders who serve capital. There is nothing easy about what I'm proposing, but Chairman Shaka S. Zulu of the New African Black Panther Party has a plan and some solutions should you care to listen. The United Panther movement is real. Soon, I will be in a hood near you serving the people and expounding on UPM strategy. I end this year's Juneteenth message with a final quote from Black Love is a Revolutionary Act. I request that you repeat this passage to yourself a couple of times so that it can really seep into your heart, mind, and soul. Try to imagine a time when no victimizer, rapist, or thief of peace would be able to beat, torture, strip naked, fondle, rape, or murder our daughters, sons, mothers, fathers, wives, or husbands in front of your eyes, because we will give our lives to stop that from ever happening again. And if you can't imagine that, try imagining this. You will never stand naked on any slave auction block or prison intake line, and you will never put yourself or your loved one or your neighbor or your neighbor's children in harm's way again, because you are them and they are you. Because we will belong to each other again. A DNA connected community of African souls that reach from continent to continent and all around the world. To stop black gender wars, we must stand together and shout in a 2 billion strong African voice, never again. Black Love is a Revolutionary Act by Umoja, page 377. Sisters and brothers, I don't need to tell you slavery was hell on earth, and in my home state of Texas, no exception. The Emancipation Proclamation and the abolition of slavery in America was just an optical illusion. Those capitalist bigots knew exactly what they were doing when they created the exception clause within the body of the 13th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution. Slavery still exists in America, manifesting within our nation's prisons. And why I and a growing number of anarchists, socialists, LGBTQ people, and freedom fighters from all over the world continue to fight for the real abolition of slavery in America, the dismantling of the prison industrial slave complex. I will never give up, and neither should you. Dare to struggle, dare to win. All power to the people. And I want to say thank you for being able to be the voice for my loved one. Thank you for listening. Here's the song. Love you.